Hold on one sec here. Yeah, alright. And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, another Saturday, another live stream, whatever that you want to call it, of In the Clouds. I'm here with my good buddy, Mr. Logan Exhales. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday, a good end of your week, a good start of your weekend, all that good stuff. And welcome. I thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Welcome.
What's going on? Shout out to Overdrip, first person I'm seeing here in the chat. How are you doing, sir? Just kick it right off. How are you doing, Logan? How was your week? All that good stuff.
Oh, I'm good, Matt. I'm good. It's been a bum week, dude. I pumped out a lot of content last week.
Dude, you've been rolling on that
super
content.
busy last week. And this week, I was like, the only thing I have to do this week is file my taxes.
There you go.
And so it's just
Shit,
been kind
isn't that time of year already?
Dude, it's that time of year,
time?
man. It is that time of year. So this week has just kind of been a bum week, which has just kind of been nice, to be honest. It's just...
Before we really get rolling here, can we just have somebody in the chat let us know that you can hear us? I'm seeing that you can see us, but can we just get a little? Oh, Overdrip said he's great. That's good. Seems like we're good. So anyway, yeah, like old cartoon where that fucking ball was rolling. That's Logan's podcast, and I'm like running away trying to keep up with all that shit, man. Really
so last week we had a lot of content, a lot of great stuff. I took this week to kind of relax, refocus, and just kind of, I don't know, take a break.
That's good. No, everybody needs it.
Which is good,
breaks,
absolutely.
For sure.
But obviously, we'll be back at it, and I'll keep having obviously tons more content coming out. But yeah, it was kind of a lax week.
Absolutely awesome to hear, because
Yeah. I'm just trying to track down a diabetes specialist right now that wants to talk to me. So
sounds good. All good. Yes, thank you everybody for that. Appreciate that.
But yeah, how was your week, Matt?
I was good. I worked a little. I worked today, 6 a.m. to 2:30. Saturdays always suck for me when I work overtime, because Friday nights I get out at 10:30, but by the time I get home and get to bed, I get like 4.5 hours of sleep or so, and then I get up to fucking get ready and be in for 6. So Saturdays are rough, but overtime, it's money. Probably lay down like I don't know, 50, 54, 55 hours this week, which just doesn't stop, man. People love the soda.
Yeah.
Kids love
have
it.
that Coke.
They fucking love
Everybody
it.
loves Coke.
Hey, I don't know, but no. Besides that, everything's
Everybody
good.
loves Coke, Matt.
trying to keep up on Twitter is just like a never-ending thing,
Dude,
man.
Twitter is like a full-time fucking job.
I'm like, holy shit! Do I sit on my break and like talk to my girlfriend, or do I like try and catch up on Twitter and then have my girlfriend texting me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm trying to fucking stay up to date. What's going on, man?
Acknowledge other human beings.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, dude.
or like Twitter, the rest of my life.
Should have called this like the world of Twitter. Just dive in. It's like you fucking immersed in like.
Dude, I try my best to keep up with Twitter and what's going on Twitter.
You do way better of a job than me, dude. I try and keep up to see just what you're posting, let alone like everybody else. I'm like, holy fuck! All right, this is good. But no, besides that, everything's good. Haven't done any kind of reviews or anything like that. Don't really plan on it. I've been kind of laying back with all the gear I got. Haven't been purchasing anything else. Just been enjoying e-liquid as it comes in. As long as it does. We'll see what happens here in New Hampshire with HB 1410 and 1624. I'm pretty sure. I think it was by March. I want to say March 3rd or something.
4 or 5 right now.
Yeah.
A47. And then there's like 4 more. A47 is the big one here in New York. So, and then there's like 4 other ones. Insert numbers and fucking letters, and they all just want to ban vapor products.
Oh yeah, it's always
That's New York.
The fucking bill names are always like
We've recently had
27.
We've recently had a couple of like congressmen and a few state senators here in New York.
Yep.
Step up and kind of chime in.
Nice.
Which is kind of nice.
If it's in a good way, then nice.
Like pro, or at least bare minimum. I know one of them. He's not really necessarily pro vaping, but he's anti-prohibition.
Well, that's good. That's beneficial in at least one way.
really, in essence, what we want more.
Yeah.
I don't need people to be pro vaping.
As long as you're not pro prohibition.
Like I don't need people to. Yeah, I don't need people to be like, vaping will cure everything.
I mean, hey, that's great. That's great too, though. If that's the case,
it'll cure your bone cancer. We're pro vaping. We're insane. No, I don't want that. I want people who are anti-prohibition because they understand those dangers and they understand that right now, where we are with vaping, we are very much coming into this like new war on drugs.
I like
it's like
that.
War on Drugs 2.0.
I like what Metal Dad had to say. Twitter is best in small doses.
That's terrifying.
2 days on, 2 days off. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
There's Shane. Hey
Shane, Mr.
But yeah,
Saddle
so I mean,
Blues.
if we have senators and we have state senators or we have assemblymen,
hey, but both isn't bad.
No, both is great, fine. Yeah. But like bare minimum, like if we can get people that are just anti-prohibition on our side, golden. That's what we need.
Yeah, I hear you.
We need
100%.
people that go, do you know how much harm comes from unregulated markets?
Exactly.
That's what we need.
So I'm going to let you kick it off.
And that should be bipartisan, period.
I'm going to let you kick it off. What are you vaping? If you're drinking anything, what are you drinking? Any kind of beverages, adult or non?
Caffeine.
What do you got going on tonight?
I broke down. I needed caffeine tonight.
Hey, that's all right.
I just needed it tonight. Don't judge me. I needed caffeine tonight. It's mango.
Don't shoot.
But
everyone, it's okay.
Goon 1.5.
Dude, I love that Samurai special,
limited edition Samurai Dovpo MVV.
That's fucking
potentiometer, variable voltage, of course. Strobe lights.
Freeman
strobe lights, love it. It's like my daily fucking driver anymore, dude.
That's awesome.
And then my other daily driver.
Fresh battery in that bad boy?
Fresh battery right before we started. This thing, it's just always getting used. This thing is never just sitting. Like I'm always using this, dude. This is from all of 2019. This little Notion right here is my favorite thing that came out in 2019.
Awesome. Just great. All around great.
What about you, Matt? Oh, sorry. In that I have, hang on. I know I say it every week, but I'll show you.
Show it. Just, hey, that's cool, man. You got a couple setups you love, weekly, daily, whatever. Hell yeah. Nothing against it. Yes, sir. Look at that. That's Savage. What is that?
Pinkman.
What's that called? Pinkman.
It's strawberry peach.
Oh.
12 milligram.
Nice. Fucking nice.
Oh, check this out. I've never seen a chubby 60 mil.
What
short,
the hell?
Chubby 60 mil.
Can we just point out I hate chubbies? Like I hate
chubby gorillas. I
hate the gorillas, dude. Fucking A.
This is like the standard 60 mil.
Yeah,
this
like you never see them. You never see them in those
tall, skinny
chubby.
60 mils.
Yeah.
This is also a 60 mil.
I never see. You see hundreds in fucking.
Right.
Gorillas.
I've just never. This is the first time, and I'm sure there are tons of other companies out there that use them. They've probably been using them for a while. Whatever.
Yeah.
I've just never seen them, and I've never gotten one.
Yeah.
And
I was looking up on my shelf to see if I had something like that going on, but I don't. I've never
Metal
seen
Dad,
something
yes
like
it
that.
is.
Berserker, hell yeah. So, as far as
the OG 1.5.
As far as what I got, there's a little juice, little liquid, whatever you want to call it. I got same setup as last week, same liquid too. Got that Vindicator, that 21700 with the dang. I was trying to see if I could get that dang.
Oh, I won't ruin the surprise.
And on the inside of that, I got Due Time Lemon Bar. It's pretty sweet. Nice little 3 milligram.
Nice.
And same setup as last week as well, but a different liquid. You got that Desire Designs, that Cup Premium with that recurve dual on top. Voice crack. Going through puberty, sorry. And I got that Ice Cream Donuts by, who the hell is this? Oh So Good Donuts, I guess.
Oh So Good Donuts.
Oh So Good. And it's really good. It's sweet. It's really good.
Can you hold that up again?
Yeah, sure. Oh So Good.
Dude, that's like, it's
donuts.
Such a Simpsons.
Yeah, like a Simpsons donut, right?
That's what I thought it looked. That's what it looked like to me when you held it up.
And I had another
very
setup.
Simpsons-y.
I have another setup. I guess I can show it, but I really don't want to vape it because it's fucking nasty. I got that OG goat on that. Fuck, what the hell is this thing? It's Purge. I know it's Purge. I forget what the hell this is. This mech is called. The Grip by Purge. You're right. Yeah, the Grip. I haven't used it in so long. And on the inside of that, I have what's that? Kilo. That White Series cinnamon roll, and
Oh yeah,
it's just, dude, it tastes like burnt toast to me.
it tastes like burnt toast.
Like legit, like the worst kind of burnt toast. Like just burnt toast. Like I don't know. It's super weird. It's like got that .19 coil head in there, and it's just burnt toast, burnt fucking toast. And as far as what I'm drinking, I just have my brother got me this nice little mug Christmas, and I just have just got some Fireball on ice.
Nice.
So it's not too bad. I'm just sipping it, man. I had some beers, I had some IPAs, but I wasn't really feeling the IPAs. Sometimes I like the hops, sometimes I don't. So I'm just sipping on some Fireball, man. Nothing wrong with it, you know.
Nice. Nothing
Saturday
wrong with
night, end of the week for me. This is like the kickoff to my weekend. Is like Saturday, 2:30, because like I'm just a Saturday worker. Because, dude,
So
if it's there, man, I'm gonna take it. Like I'm young, you know. Maybe when I'm 40, 50, I'm like, yeah, fuck overtime. You won't see me work a Saturday. Force those less senior guys. But right now, it's fucking hammer time, man.
Yeah.
And if it's
for
there,
sure. I'm
dude,
ready.
I'll
I'm
fucking
ready
take
for
it.
spring to get here so I can get back to work.
I hear you.
There's Becky.
Hello, Becky.
Yeah.
How are you? I saw her post in Discord. I'm pretty sure it was of the pixie tarts. She loves that pixie tarts, huh?
Yeah, so we have 3.5 for 4.5 bottles right now.
Damn. 60
And I'm
mils or
gonna
100s?
yeah 60 mils,
60s?
and I'm gonna
Oh, shit.
order her a few more until I can't, because the milkman went out of business.
What?
So she won't be able to get pixie tarts anymore. So we're trying to hoard as much of it as we can afford.
Can you could try and do like a DIY thing. Maybe
I'm gonna
somebody's
try
got
to
a
find a
recipe
clone.
that's like
I'm gonna
as
try to
close
find a
as-
clone soon so I can try and.
And I know
clone
I
it.
showed you this, Logan, but I want to show everybody in chat. I'm not using this right now because it needs a
Oh,
new
yeah.
coil. But I wanted to show everybody. I've been using the Berserker Mini, but it needs a new coil, and so it tastes like shit. So I'm not using it. But I love this tip.
Yeah,
I
dude.
love
I had
this.
that metal. I had the
Like,
stainless steel one.
I
on
don't know
mine
what
for
the
a
hell
long
you
time.
call this style tip, but it's just that, you know, that nice tuck in the side. Like it's just great. But I'm not vaping on this. Like I said, it needs a new coil. But yeah, I wanted to point out that tip. I love that tip. So here we
Yeah,
are, another crazy week, huh?
Let's see here. I have stainless one that I used on mine for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's comfortable. It's comfortable.
Oh yeah,
It really
for
is.
sure,
It's
for
good.
sure.
I-
Speaking of tips, I need to put an order in for DHD soon.
Yeah, dude, I got to
That's
get some
what I need to
DHD
do.
tips. I can honestly say I don't have a single DHD tip. I know I'm missing out. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
ordered
DHD
anything,
tips
dude.
are great, dude.
I seriously
My
haven't bought any like
favorites.
vape gear in like a while. The only thing I have continuously coming is just Vape Box that I have my subscription for. Besides that, I haven't like purchased
favorite
anything in a
DHD tip
while.
Is sea
Sea
glass.
glass, dude. Look at that. I knew you were gonna say that. Look at that. That is such a big bore on that, huh? Fucking clouds, bro. Clouds.
My camera doesn't really want to focus on
Nah,
it.
that
but
looks pretty good, dude.
there it goes.
Okay, you can start now. I'm here, Corey Jackson. Big
And
shout
then,
out once again to everybody that's here. I hope everybody's doing great.
That's another DHD.
What's that one called? Do you know?
What was this? Platinum balls or something like that?
It's called fucking awesome. Get yourself one.
Yeah, so those are the only two DHD tips that I own, though, or that we own, and I definitely want to get some more.
So
Corey said, "Okay, you can start now. I'm here."
you can start now.
All right, Corey's here,
We're
everybody.
here. So
All
welcome
right.
to In the Clouds Live.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Matt, what are you vaping on? No, I'm just kidding.
So, I guess you want to jump right into news and advocacy. Let's get written now. You don't want to do it? No, we don't have
I
to.
don't want to do it.
Let's see how long everybody stays here. We just sit here and vape. Silent. We just mute our mics and just sit here. How long will it go on? ASMR exhales. All right, I'm gonna roll the
That
bumper.
first tip, glass? No, it's still acrylic.
Oh, glass, dude. Jesus. I'm gonna roll the
I know,
bumper.
dude. I would
Let's,
love a glass. I don't know how I would feel honestly about a glass strip tip. Now that I think about it.
Dude, I drop my shit way too much. By the way, I'm gonna pay attention to Ruby Roo and Josh the Hand. I'm definitely gonna get another Monarch. I just need it. And after
I
seeing
want to get
Grimm's,
a light.
after
Yeah, that's
seeing
the
Grimm
thing.
stream, dude, I need another Monarch in my life. I fucking love that thing. The Turk V2, that was like its permanent home on top of my Monarch Carnage before it fell and shattered. Sadly enough.
What does that look like, Matt? What is?
Carnage, destroyed carnage. You want to see, fucking.
This is what happens when you break a Monarch.
So yeah, this side looks great, right? It looks awesome, pretty sweet, nice little aspen modco on the bottom there, and then when you drop it, falls over on its side.
Yeah.
You get that nice shattered.
Yep.
Shattered, bro.
Shattered.
And you can kind of see it on both sides. Like it's the track is
the whole track
is non-existent.
Yep.
So I have a black anodized top and whatever other parts I can salvage.
That's every
Talk
time
about
I
that.
see
You want to talk about ASMR?
Every time I see that mod, though, my heart breaks.
I know. It was such big money too. I loved it, and then I had a
See, this
lanyard
is
under
where
it. I pulled my lanyard. It fell down and landed on my carpet.
I was really thinking about saving up for a Monarch because they're absolutely beautiful, but I knew that it would just be a shelf mod.
Yeah, it really is.
I wouldn't use it. I've got kids. We've got animals. We've got
Shit is so bound to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
You
able
put
to
it in a
use
glass box, and you'd be like, yeah, I got one, but I just can't use it because of X, Y, and Z,
So but then at one point, when they first announced they were going to be making Monarch lights, I was like, ooh, what are they going to make it out of? And now that I know what they're making it out of.
What are they made out of? Is it?
It's I think it's resin. I don't know, be honest.
Are they
it's not
3D printed?
It's some kind of plastic. Yeah. I know that. It's some kind of plastic. It might be. I don't think they're 3D printed.
Okay, I didn't know if they were. I've only seen a quick picture. I don't even.
They
know
look to be more durable than a standard Monarch,
which would be great.
And they
half
function.
the cost and then
from what I know, they function exactly the same. So it's gonna hit just like a Monarch. It's just the body,
which is
that
awesome
is made
that
out of a
offered
lighter
that because
material,
it's
or a
not
more
like
cost-effective.
It's not like they were making these mods, right? And they were as pricey as they are for a good reason. But then, nobody's buying them, so they're like, okay, let's make something cheaper. It's like, no, they were selling a lot of these, and then they're like, let's give out another option for people who don't want to spend $425.
And they are significantly cheaper. They're like $200 cheaper.
Yeah.
They're instead of $450 or whatever, they're like
$225 or something like that. Yeah.
Instead of $425, something like that. They're like $200 cheaper. So.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
if you own a couple of nice mech mods, that's your Monarch Light right there.
For parallel boxes right now, I have two that I'm looking at.
I thought Ricky Mahoney said I thought Delrin, but I don't know.
Is it Delrin?
Maybe
it might be Delrin.
Full Delrin, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I know you can do Delrin in a number of colors too. So, but I'm between the Monarch Light and Plan B, collaborated with Anarchist, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just called the Collab Box, but it's all brass. You can either get it full polished brass or in black, and it's a parallel box.
Yeah, I was looking at.
They're like right around 200.
I was looking at a shop down in Florida, back when I bought this bad boy. I don't know if they're called Florida Vapor Supply. I forget what the exact name is.
Florida Vapor Supply went out of business.
Yeah, they were going out, and before they went out, they had a lot of cool Delrin like parallel style mods, and they were pretty nasty. Some were nasty, and they're having really good deals too.
That's awesome, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, Matt, dude.
Matt's a great guy.
Fucking legend.
Matt's awesome. Good
guy. So Matt, not you, Matt.
The other Matt. I think I'm.
You're a legend in my eyes, Matt.
I'm slightly awesome, right? No. Okay. Can we say I'm all right? Matt, this Matt right here.
I'm trying to block Becky because she doesn't want to be in the show.
You gotta turn your whole monitor.
This is my big bobblehead. Trying to block Becky here. I can turn my monitor.
I don't mind being in the show.
I can turn.
Oh, see, she doesn't mind. She doesn't even mind.
She was all like, "Oh, I don't want to be in the show. My hair isn't done."
Yeah, I got some friends over. My buddy's like, "Yo, you want me in the background?" I was like, "How about not?"
Yeah, I know. My hair's not done either.
Dude, you want to talk about hair? I won't even take my head off, bro. Salt and pepper. It's hitting strong. There's some nice ones like that from the Philippines.
This is Becky, everybody.
Hi, Becky.
You just want to give me shit.
Meet Rise and Vape podcast. Fantastic, wonderful, amazing.
I love the sweater.
I got that dang squonks like a champ.
Yeah.
What tip is that? What drip tip she got on there?
It's just it's a
It's-
green one
it's
from like a
actually-
dead rabbit or something.
Yeah, it's
Really?
from a dead rabbit.
Stole
Yeah.
it. Cloud check, Becky. What's up?
Cloud check?
Cloud check.
Pixie tarts at six
Upside
smoker.
dual. Oh,
Cloud check.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to say what it was.
We know what you vape, Becky. We put her on the spot like
We
that.
put her
She's
on
like,
the spot.
shit.
She wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready. I think she was trying to go for a bigger cloud than
Nice
she
knowing
normally
y'all.
does.
Rip.
Thank you,
Rip.
Robert. I appreciate that. You know, two Mets can't be legends. It's all right. So I guess I'm gonna roll the bumper.
In the infamous
Let's
words
get the hell into it.
of what?
Said I'm gonna roll the bumper.
I was gonna say there can be only one, but go ahead. No, you're a legend, Matt. You're a
Thank
legend
you.
in your own right, sir.
Thank you. On the inside.
Yes.
All right.
So
So,
what
if
are
that
we
worked
talking about?
the way it
This
was
is your
supposed
show,
to,
man.
that
What
was
are we
our
talking
little
about?
news and advocacy bumper. Let's kick it
Oh,
off.
did it play?
It did.
Oh.
Well, I think it played. It'll probably be like 30 seconds or something.
It's
before
because I'm
we see it.
balding, Corey.
Wow.
Okay, I'm done.
It's alright, dude. Everybody balds, I guess, occasionally.
Not everybody.
I'm going to drop the link to that. So we're going to be talking about the World Health Organization. This is a little link that I saw during the week that I figured I'd snag when I figured we could get a little ranty, get a little discussion going on about the WHO and what they have to say, and what the response from the UK researchers. So if you
Shelly
wanna-
said what? No recurve? That's funny. Yeah, I convinced her. I set up the dang the other day.
the dang,
kind
dude.
of.
You gave her the dang, huh?
I set up the dang the other day with a liquid that she used to vape a lot, and I threw it on a box, and I handed it to her, and I was just like, "Hey, try this, see what you think.
Yeah.
Tell me what liquid it is." And she was like, "Oh yeah, this is really nice." And then the other day, she was like, "This is really nice. I'm gonna put the dang on my top side." And I was like, "What?"
Hell yeah. So
I
Yeah.
make up for it with the majestic beard. Thanks, man. It just grows. I don't.
Corey Jackson.
Oh yeah, that beer.
It just grows, and I just snip at it, and
So basically, this
Call back.
article here, UK researchers give what this article is claiming as a harsh response to the WHO, their warning on vaping. So I'm going to read what the WHO had to say, and then we can kind of brush over what the UK response was. It's a pretty long article. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing, but I figure we can just do what we always do, touch a few points, kind of discuss it. So in a document released Monday, WHO expressed reservations about the value of e-cigarettes and grave concerns about their risks. The organization stated, "There is no doubt that e-cigarettes are harmful to health and are not safe, but it is too early to provide a clear answer on a long-term impact of using them or being exposed to them." WHO also suggested there is not enough evidence to support the use of these products for smoking cessation. And I know Logan wants to fucking jump right into that. And urged smokers looking to quit to try nicotine patches or gum or other tools such as hotlines that counsel smokers. And, hypnotism. If you watch Grim Green stream, people have even gone as far as hypnotism. UK's response, and then we can jump right in. Their response was harsh. The WHO has a history of anti-vaping activism that is damaging their reputation. This document is particularly malign. Peter Hajek, I'm going to say, who directs the Tobacco Dependence Research. Hajek, yeah. That directs the Tobacco Dependence Research Unit at Queen Mary University of London, wrote in a statement released today by the UK Science and Media Centre, "There is no evidence that vaping is highly addictive," he said. "Less than 1% of non-smokers become regular vapors. Vaping does not lead young people to smoking. Smoking among young people is at an all-time low," which clearly we can't say that enough. "There is clear evidence that e-cigarettes help smokers quit," Hajek continued. "E-cigarettes are clearly less harmful than tobacco," said the director of the UK Centre for Tobacco and Alcohol Studies and a consultant in the respiratory medicine at the University of Nottingham. WHO misrepresents the available scientific evidence, he charged. Public Health England maintains. Sorry, I'm like congested. My girlfriend's cooking onions. I'm all my
you're all fucked up.
I'm all fucked up. Public Health England maintains that vaping is at least 95% less harmful than smoking cigarettes, which
Crazy.
we all know this. So
Insanity. What?
I'm not going to keep reading this. If you want to read this, like I said, I dropped the link in chat. You can read this whole article. It's a good article. WHO, I mean, like this, World Health Organization, like this article says, they've been anti-vaping, and they've just shown that they're another one of
the
those
World Health
organizations,
Organization is primarily funded by pharmaceutical companies.
And 1 + 1
That's
does
open
equal 2.
knowledge. You can go look at their funding. You can go look at whatever. It's like almost all pharmaceutical, and then a whole bunch of like body part organizations and garbage like this around the world, which are also in turn funded by pharmaceutical companies and
I like what Corey had to say
companies.
there.
So it is in the WHO's best interest to keep quitting smoking rates manageable and promote the things that they make money from.
I know exactly.
That's all it comes back to. That's the World Health Organization. They've been challenged countless times on countless things, and they never seem to be held accountable, truly held accountable, for what they do and what they promote and the bullshit that they spew.
I just want to say quickly, I agree with what Corey Jackson had to say. He said, translation, there's definitive evidence that vaping is costing us MSA money.
I don't know how much it is MSA money, because the MSA itself doesn't have much to do with the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Okay? And, Corey, I know where your head's at, and I know everybody's like, MSA blood money. But it's MSA blood money is going to politicians' pockets and not going to, fixing the communities and infrastructure or especially to tobacco cessation and prevention programs, which is what it's supposed to go to. But MSA and the WHO, that really there's loose connection there at best. It's pharmaceutical companies, it's quote unquote public health organizations, and that's what it comes down to.
And it comes to it seems to be like any of the what do you call them, Logan? The body part organizations. Everybody's ignoring.
And that's where the MSA thing kind of comes into play. Sure, there's definitely some money getting handed around, but I think the big bulk of the money for the WHO is pharmaceutical.
Yeah. And I'm not too versed on, other countries' stance, but the U.S. is just, no, it's not. It's not smoking cessation.
Yes,
the jury is still
general.
out. Yeah.
Yes, Corey. Money. That's exactly.
Everything comes back to money, man.
Always.
Everything comes back to money. It always comes back to money.
Money over everything, as far as what these guys care about,
Yeah, they're all regular Cuomos.
Everybody seems to be, forgetting that, flavors aren't what are hooking kids. Smoking is
now, and
at an all-time low.
77% of them don't even put it as a fucking answer.
Yeah, so.
I don't know. That's just
as far as the WHO, and if you want to start going down that route into CDC, I just don't pay attention to half of what they have to say, or 3/4, I should.
Yeah, they want you to believe, right? Like it's in their name, World Health Organization. They do want you to believe that that's what they truly care about. But here's the thing about all health organizations: they only exist when people are sick. If people aren't sick and dying, they're not making any money. That's for every health organization that exists, period. Now, some of them are really great, and they really, truly do care. But you have to also ask them, how would you feel about your organization shutting down when you're no longer needed?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the whole point of opening this organization, whether you're, say you are Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. We'll use them as a prime example, right? What happens to Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids when there's no more smoking, there's no more vaping, there's no more nicotine? If that were a thing, what would happen to them? They would be gone, right? Just gone. Matt Myers would be out of a job. He'd have to hang up the keys to his third or fourth Porsche. He'd be out of a job. That would be it. So it's a struggle figuring out like which organizations are truly good for public health and which ones aren't, and that can be complicated at best. And a lot of people are like, well, the American Heart Association does a lot of good for a lot of things. No, the American Heart Association doesn't. Most of the body part organizations aren't really health organizations. Most of them are charity organizations, right? Heavy air quotes, charity organizations. Yeah. They're lobbyist firms. That's all they are. They make money, and they use their lobbyists to get into to get their agendas through Congress and through states, legislatures and things like this. Like, that's what they do. They're not really health organizations. They're not out there actively like really helping people. Or
don't let the title
health.
fool you.
Lobbying to get set up to make the most money they can make.
Yeah. And I want to point out, like, pretty much the last sentence in this article. Well, I'll kind of read this last paragraph. It's a few sentences. It says, the dispute is unlikely to be resolved, but for the World Health Organization, the downside of e-cigarettes clearly outweighs their benefits. E-cigarettes are currently banned in over 30 countries worldwide, the group shared this week, with more and more countries considering bans to protect young people. And we know that's always what it comes back to, and even though the national the youth tobacco survey just is getting like completely ignored.
And
we know that
they're
it's
right.
not...
There are a shit ton of countries where e-cigarettes are banned. Like, yeah. But let's take India.
That's what I was literally about to say. Is like, the stance on India. I know they're kids. Like, you don't talk about kids smoking. Like kids.
Massive. Yeah. Like unheard of numbers of youth smoking.
Talk about India. Youth smoking. Fucking go over to India.
Like,
you'll see that
over
shit.
500,000 youth smoking regularly. And we're talking like 7-year-olds.
Yeah. We're talking about not bullshit youth up here. Like in the U.S., youth is 18. Teen.
Now,
teen
now
smoking
yeah,
18,
now
19.
Youth is anyone under 21, basically, right? Right?
Yeah. Children. We've seen all the articles.
21-year-olds. Yeah. Yeah, no, India, where you have some of the highest rates of tobacco-related disease and cancer in the world.
Yeah.
They're the countries that ban e-cigarettes. Why? Because India makes so much money from tobacco.
And
so these countries that have banned e-cigarettes, and they're trying to use this as like, look at all these countries banning e-cigarettes. Look how good they're doing. These are countries that are so heavily ingrained in tobacco. That's why they're banning e-cigarettes. They're not banning e-cigarettes for public health in these countries. They're banning them because these countries wouldn't survive without tobacco.
And I know this sounds like kind of negative, but I want to know, and I won't know until time goes on, but I want to know how long is research and evidence and people's testimonies, how long is all of this shit going to be ignored when you still got guys like Jerome Adams saying, there's not enough research, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about this.
Look at all the things that are ignored about smokeless tobacco, and they've been ignored for decades.
Yeah. And that's
decades.
That's a big fear. I hope that this shit doesn't go on and on and on to the point where it's like 20,
decades.
40 years from now, like, oh, shit, if we would have promoted, vaping, 40 years ago, who knows how many, X amount of lives could have been saved.
The first MRTP for a smokeless tobacco product just happened last year for Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Swedish Match's General line of snus.
General.
They got a modified risk tobacco product. Modified risk. That's harder to get than a PMTA.
And like we were saying earlier before the show,
we are just coming
a lot of
around
research
to
is
snus.
based off of.
So, I mean, like half of what we know from that big nicotine without smoke review that we love from the UK and the Royal College of Physicians, half of that information we get from snus. We get it from smokeless tobacco studies.
Yep.
Understanding what nicotine does in the system when you don't have smoke. And we're just coming around to snus in this country. We are so far behind in tobacco harm reduction in this country. It's absurd. Needlessly, people are dying and smoking. Needlessly, because we simply refuse to put out quality information. We've done it since the fucking 60s, and we're going to keep doing it in this country forever. Like, it's anybody who's in the tobacco harm reduction realm, whether you're you've been in it for a long time or you're just getting into it, I hope you're strapped in, because that's what I mean. This is going to be an ongoing thing in this country for a long time.
Yeah, this is just getting started.
But bear in mind, snus just got an MRTP. It's possible. It just takes time. This country is so far behind and so bent in our ways. Like, it's just going to take time.
I was about to say, so stuck in the ways of like, whatever you want to call it.
It's going to take people looking at, Grim Green's lungs 30 years from now. Somebody who's been vaping for 40 years. You know what I mean? It's going to take decades more for us to get, because we always want that long term. We need that long term study. We can use scientific inference for every other fucking thing in the world. But when it comes to tobacco products, we can't use scientific inference. Somehow it doesn't matter anymore.
Nope.
None of the available information that we have right now, which is like over 2,000 studies, doesn't matter. We just need long-term studies. That's what we're after. That's what we need. And we're just not going to get that for another couple of decades. So if you're here, strap in. That's
Shane Oakley,
I'll be right there with you.
Chat. Hello,
Shane
gentlemen
Oakley.
in chat.
I
How
missed
are
the
you
weekend
doing,
wisdom.
Shane? Yeah, we can't put him on the spot like that. But when are you guys coming back, man?
You're officially on the spot.
Weekend wisdom, weekday wisdom, and then
everyday wisdom.
I mean, hey, it happens. Whatever. Daily lives, whatever. It's all good. Glad you're here. Glad you could pop in. I hope you're doing well. I hope Mr. J. Michael, Mr. Texas Cloudtown, I hope he's doing well. I don't think he's here in the chat right now, but I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything's good. But that kind of wraps up for this article, unless you have anything else you want to say. I kind of want to jump into Azar and what he had to say on a radio show as far as the streamline PMTA for small businesses.
Let's dive into that.
I'm going to drop the link to that. This is a Vaping 360 article, and if you watch Grim Green's his Friday vlog, not Thursday, but weird. Friday, if you watch that, he also says that Vaping 360 is like the only website reporting on this as of now, which it caught my eye instantly. I used to pull a lot of my articles from Vapun magazine, but they've been dark since like October 25th. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. I don't know what's going on with them. I love that site. Know. But now it's kind of reach
out to Angela.
Yeah, I should reach out just to ask, just to be curious. So if you're unfamiliar with this came out the 23rd, which is a couple days ago.
I do want to say another magazine that's been doing phenomenal coverage of vaping and all things substance, drug policy, or drug related is Filter Mag. And if you guys are not following Filter Mag, do it.
Check them out. Definitely
because
check them out.
We are currently, whether people like it or not, in the drug policy space.
Yeah.
Right? Nicotine is a drug.
It's not a bad thing to know about any any harm reduction as far as
Filter Mag is so focused on harm reduction, quality information, getting past stigmas and sensationalism and just getting to the facts. Shout out to everybody over at Filter Mag. They're fantastic. So yeah, if you go on Twitter, you can follow them. They have also done really excellent coverage of vaping and like pro vaping stance, harm reduction, pro harm reduction stuff. So
all right, Shane, that sounds awesome. Sorry to throw you on the spot like that. If you're here and you don't know Shane, Mr. Shane Oakley, him and J. Michael, Mr. Texas Cloudtown, you can check those guys out on Twitter, Instagram. They do a weekday wisdom and a weekend wisdom. I don't know if they'll be coming back with both, but he said February 1st. So be on the lookout for that. February 1st. Those guys are great. Another awesome show to check out. But yeah, so this article... go ahead.
Yeah, Shane just has like one of the most soothing voices.
He could be a radio host.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane could just like do audiobooks and put me to sleep. Like, it's just so soothing. He just has a fantastic
He's got like
voice.
that Neil deGrasse Tyson voice.
Yeah, it's just so nice.
So yeah, so like I said, this article is from vaping360.com. Dropped it in the chat for anybody that wants to follow along. January 23rd by Mr. Jim McDonald. Logan, I know you did an episode.
I recently spoke to Jim. I did a Rise and Chat episode with Jim. Jim's fantastic guy, and I think me and Jim have we share a lot of similar morals or views or whatever. It's a great episode. Here, go ahead. If you want to read your article or whatever, I'm gonna share a link.
Yeah, pull that up. Pull that up if you want to check
to
that out.
that
You guys can
episode.
check that out. So, this article, the title is Azar promises streamlined PMTA approval for small businesses. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and read this, but this was on a, let's see here. This was like recorded here on it was a radio show that Azar spoke on, but I'm going to go ahead and read some of this article here and we can chat about it. Azar says the FDA will not shut down vape shops and small vaping companies in May, when manufacturers must submit their PMTAs, and that the agency will, quote unquote, streamline approval for small companies. President Trump's Secretary of Health and Human Services made the surprising comments during an interview on an Ohio radio station Tuesday. The HHS is a parent agency of the FDA, and Azar reports directly to Trump. The president recently told Azar that getting personally involved into vaping issue has been a mistake for Trump. We all kind of heard this. However, that came to be whoever passed that along.
Some quote or whatever where he's like, I never should have done this fucking vaping.
That's what I was going to say. It was a lot more aggressive than how Jim just wrote it. But vape shop owner in Ohio.
Because Jim is a nice guy.
He is. He's a real nice guy. So, vape shop owner in Ohio Vapor Trade Association President James Jarvis suggested the question to host Scott Sands and recorded and posted the exchange on SoundCloud. The link is in this article. Sands' program is broadcasted on Toledo station WSPD News Radio 1370. And quote here, the vape industry has over 100,000 people who work in the sector, Sands told Azar, with 15,000 small businesses around the country, and some of the president's new restrictions would run all those people out of work. We have another quote here. The agency has promised before to work with small companies to help shepherd their application through the process. We would not at all do that, just to reassure you, answered Azar. The president has struck a very balanced approach. Under the law, by May of this year, all e-cigarettes, not all vaping products, just e-cigarettes, which are nicotine delivery devices, are required to come in and seek FDA approval. They have been on the market illegally up to this date because they've not been approved by the FDA. And that's that whole discussion between the whole e-cigarettes. We've talked about, who was that? Kelley Conway a while ago. That whole discussion. You remember? We talked
Kelley
about
Conway.
that for a while.
Oh my gosh.
She's got one
Kelley
of those...
Conway has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah. So in this article, just goes on to say the first thing to note is the weird distinction between vaping products and e-cigarettes, which is kind of what we just said about what Kelley Conway had to say a while back in an interview, which is very similar to the statement made by Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway. She went on to say that while the FDA has jurisdiction over e-cigarettes through the Tobacco Control Act, the agency does not have jurisdiction over vaping. So this kind of like mixed message that we're getting through Azar, I want to hear more about it. I have not listened to this interview. I want to listen to that, and I definitely want to hear more about what.
Yeah, I haven't
Alex
heard the
Azar.
actual interview.
Yeah,
I read the article, and I'm just gonna tell people my personal stance. I don't trust Azar for shit.
No, I
At
think
all.
that was just something like caught out of context.
Not a smidgen, nothing.
And it
Zero
kinda
zip,
is-
nada.
I feel like it's really one of those things that like people like see it and they're like, holy shit, like this is hope
Yeah,
right here. But it's like,
don't get hopes
Um,
up. Don't no, not for Azar at all. At least have hopes for the industry and have hopes for vaping. Please
These guys are
keep
all
the hope
fucking.
alive.
These guys are
but
all.
don't put it on Azar.
These guys are fucking flip coin daily. Like,
Yeah, no, all
literally,
this is,
you know?
all that comment from Azar is, yeah, Trump greatly regrets. He does actually feel regret in some smidgen of a weird way, for getting involved in this because of how big of a political issue we have made it. And for him, it's just a fucking nightmare, right?
people
That's
are
all
so,
it is
like,
for him.
and-
He doesn't want to get involved. He thought that he could get involved after Melania said, "Oh, my kids and kids and kids," and all this crap about kids. So Melania got involved, right? Yeah. Then Trump got involved. He felt, oh, as the president of the United States, if my wife is concerned, then we need to be concerned together. We need to be in this together. I need to stand by my wife's whatever and puff out my chest and be the president of the United States. And it fucking sucks for him now. Like, it sucks for him. And so he never should have got involved. What this is from Azar is him telling Azar you need to tell people we're going to help. You need to, make this right. You need to
I think you're
whatever,
literally
get up
like
there
on point with
and
that.
save face for all of us. So make whatever comments, say we're going to make it right. We're going to streamline it. Tell them we're going to streamline it. It's
But
going to be
this-
huge. It's going to be great.
You know,
Tell them we're going to streamline it. And that's what he did. That's all fucking Alex Azar did. Alex Azar does not want vaping or e-cigarettes to exist.
Yeah.
None of it.
I would like this to be true, and I'm pretty much like right on par with everything that you're saying. Like it's more of like a hope.
Yeah,
thing.
it's,
Like,
it's
you really
exactly,
hope that, like,
Corey. It's so that
Trump
way
or
people
whoever
will
else
relax and be comfortable again.
exactly.
And happy
People
with our government and
catch
things
off
like
their,
this. And
get off their
it's
guard,
not.
kind of cool down, and like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
gotta
it's
worry.
not at all.
No, you
we
want,
need to keep that pressure on.
especially a guy like Trump and everything he has to say as far as like small business and stuff. We'd like to see almost like a full 360 with as far as how the
And I'm gonna be
PMTA
honest with
process
everybody.
is.
The point that we're at in this like whole fucking thing, it doesn't even matter what Trump says anymore, right?
it
Like
doesn't.
FDA already did the T21 thing. The FDA has already done their thing with flavored pods.
And there's plenty
I
of
highly
shit
doubt
going
the
on
FDA
state
is
to
going to
state
do much
anyway.
more
You know what I mean?
until May of 2020. So right now, it doesn't really matter what Trump says. It doesn't really matter what Azar says. We need to be focused on local and state
Yeah.
state
That's
shit.
literally
Like
what I was just saying.
that's where our battles are back to. Right? Everybody got on Twitter, we all tweeted at Trump, we did a big hoorah, we did the thing, we rallied in DC. We made Trump regret his stupid fucking words. We did that. We accomplished that. We're back to state and local shit. That's where we need to like switch our gears back.
Yeah.
And get back, because that's where our battles are. It doesn't if the government says yeah, okay, sure, this is what we've done, this is our setup, this is what we advised, now we're gonna leave it in the state's hands.
We still got to worry about states like like Vermont with like their 92% tax, and now they have a new like possession bill. I'm pretty sure.
Vermont's got a possession. They have a pup bill. If anybody doesn't know what a pup law is, PUP, pup law, that's possession, use, and purchasing.
I was gonna say I don't know.
Possessing, using, and purchasing. That's everything. Now, most laws just have laws against sales, right? Like most states for any of the states that have banned e-cigarettes right now, or any of the local municipalities, like anywhere where they're banned, it's a sale ban. It's not a possession ban. We kind of fought that with Michigan, and they took it out of their shit, and everybody got freaked out and they backed off. But Vermont is going ahead with it. We
can chat more about this. We're not going to touch on this tonight, but I just want to, just because just chew up so much time. We can talk a little bit more about Vermont. Is it Vermont, Maine, and was it another state? I don't know about this. So if we want to touch on this might be something.
For the pup law thing.
Yeah.
I believe that's Vermont.
Go for that. Yeah, Vermont. I want to drop this link just to say.
I believe
if you haven't. This was going to be our next
Yeah,
topic.
that's Vermont. That's Senate Bill S288.
Yeah.
Not only bans the sale of non-tobacco flavors in vapor products, but also prohibits the possession of a flavored tobacco or vapor product, even by adults over the age of 21.
Yeah.
So this is 100% war on drugs tactics.
And as time goes
That's
on,
it.
it's just, if you don't see it, you should be seeing it. And as time goes on, we're seeing it. Every year. Some states are a lot crazier than others, for sure.
This is where I am so focused right now on engaging and getting people to engage the broader harm reduction community.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Nicotine is a drug. Whether it's on a scheduled list or some white guy in a suit decided it should be legal because he can make money off it, it's still a drug.
Yep.
Right? That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's a drug. Legal, illegal, that's arbitrary. We make those laws as we go. Nicotine is a legal drug. We are moving to the point where you will either see the only legal available nicotine that you can buy is a cigarette or a patch or a gum. Everything else will be made illegal. And when we move to that point, we're going to start incarcerating law-abiding citizens. We're going to go down the whole fucking slew, denying healthcare, denying insurance, all sorts of shit, putting people, forced coercion into rehabilitation for fucking nicotine. That's the direction we're heading. So I'm trying my hardest to get the vaping community, the tobacco harm reduction community, more engaged with the larger harm reduction community, so we can all join forces and we can all stampede fucking the White House again together in 5 times the fucking droves. Because if we can assemble as a harm reduction community and we can focus on saving lives, period, we would be in a much better place.
Yeah, flat out, if you're not
But
on
there's
that
this
train,
weird-
you
there's
just
this
you need to
weird-
get on that train. You know what I mean?
There's
And-
this weird disconnect between tobacco harm reductionists and drug harm reductionists. And I don't really understand why. I get the differences in, like, tobacco kills over decades, right? Like, you can die from lung cancer from smoking in like your 30s.
Yeah.
There are people that die from lung cancer from smoking in their 30s. That's a very real thing. But the average loss of life is 10 years. So the average, I don't know, what's the average life expectancy for men right now? Like 82 or something like that?
Is
So
it
the
really
average
that
smoker
high? Holy shit.
would die at like 72. That would be the average loss of life. You would lose 10 years of your life, an entire decade. But that's just the average. And averages always mean that there's more on each end of that spectrum, right? Like, there are people that die from lung disease and cancer and emphysema and COPD when they're 101. And there are people that die from all of those things when they're 30.
Yeah.
The average is 10 years, but it happens across the entire board. So that's what we're looking at. When we talk about smoking and tobacco harm reduction and prevention, we're talking about preventing somebody from continuing a habit that will kill them, will reduce their life decades down
Which
the road.
I can somewhat understand it, because like it's such a big thing to get on. You know what I mean? Like, being for harm reduction in general, and as
It's tough,
broad
man.
as
It can
that
be-
is, like,
it
it
can
is
fuck up
huge,
people's
you know?
morals,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, because people are so, you know, people can be so hard, like tobacco harm reduction, but then like not know a clue about any kind of drug harm reduction or any of
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
because it's like it's a separate world, and people want to say that or maybe think like that, but it's like you need to be for all of it. We're harm reduction.
Yeah, we need to be
that's
harm
what we need to
reductionists.
be.
That's what we need to be. But on the
Because
other
it's a
side,
battle
that's
you know?
tobacco harm reduction. That's what we look at, right? Now you flip that coin. Drug harm reductionists are looking at saving lives from people potentially dying tomorrow,
Yeah.
or today,
Today, right now, 5
Right
minutes from
now.
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
sidewalk,
Yeah.
falling out.
Yep.
So there's a big difference in that mindset, and I get that. I get drug harm reductionists are like, we need to save lives right now because people are dying right the fuck now.
Yeah.
Like using their substance and dying right there on the fucking spot. That's different from a smoker developing COPD and emphysema and lung cancer over 40 years.
Yep.
There's a big difference in that mindset, but the core values of harm reduction on both sides are exactly the same. The core principles of harm reduction do not change.
No.
And so we need to put our biases aside. We need to put our stigmas aside, because stigmas fucking kill people. And we need to be harm reductionists, and we need to save our brothers and sisters now. All of them. As many as we can. Right? We need to put policies in place that give people those choices and bring them into the realm of harm reduction.
Yep.
Because we know forced rehabilitation doesn't fucking work. Sure, it works for some people. Yeah, but on a broad population level, no. It's fucking terrible. It doesn't work. They treat people like shit. We deny human dignity and human rights because we believe that people shouldn't use drugs, and then we put them back out on the street clean. And when they have nothing in their life to go back to, they go right back to using, right?
It
And
reminds
now that
me
they've
of
been
that,
clean, and then when you go into a poison market, a poison drug supply, your chances of overdose are twice as high. Like, we threw somebody into rehabilitation just to put them back out on the street where they were, with greater chances of death.
It reminds me of that poll you put up a while ago on Twitter about treating, I'm pretty sure it was tweeting drug users, human equal to human, less than human, or I'm sure, I don't know if you maybe remember, but
I do
yeah,
remember that.
it's just being for harm reduction. It's huge. It's a really huge topic,
and
but
I
it's just,
get a
listen, if
lot
you
of
want to be
people-
harm reduction for tobacco, you want to talk about tobacco harm reduction. This is a huge fight. It's been going on for a really long time, and harm reduction is harm reduction across the board. If you're for some of it, you got to be for all of it, and it's just beneficial in the war that it is.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, and
I
if you
mean,
don't see it like that, you should start
and
seeing it like that.
I talk to a
because-
lot of people that have
know?
a lot of hate in their heart for things like heroin,
And
specifically heroin.
you really opened my eyes to that in a podcast. Really
Because
good
they've lost
podcast,
people.
Narcotica. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
opened my eyes
And
to a
people
whole other
have
side that I'm
lost
like,
people,
holy
right?
shit! Like this is a
People
lot
have
now.
lost people, and I get that. People lose a loved one, and they want to blame their drug use. They want to blame that, right?
Yeah.
And they go, well, no, why would we ever open a safe consumption site to let people go use heroin? Like, I lost somebody to heroin. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to mock. I shouldn't be making that voice. Somebody says, I've lost a loved one to heroin. I can't believe they want to do this. My question is like, but your loved one, had a facility like this been open, could have gone, had their drugs tested, used clean needles, been in the place where people are trained on staff right there, ready to use naloxone and Narcan. If that person overdosed, your loved one would have had such a better chance of A, being alive, and 2, being right there present with people who were offering judgment-free help to get that person to a better place in their life.
And of course,
the chances that your loved one would still be with you today and healthy
are through the
dramatically would have gone up.
Yeah.
Had these policies and these things been here, but your bias and your stigma and the hate in your heart goes against everything that we know.
Because your idea would have just been them not using it all. But listen,
your idea would have been throwing them in
we
rehab,
get
forcing
that.
them through this program, and then what would you have done for them after?
Yeah, but it's just, it's like, yeah, your idea would have been them not using it all or doing anything of what Logan just said, but take a step back and think about, that person or whoever, anybody might have still been here if something like a safe consumption site was near them or there or whatever, or they found it available.
I want people to
and all that
understand,
kind of
too, no matter how you feel about safe consumption sites, we don't have any in the United States right now operating legally.
Yeah.
But in every safe consumption site around the world, and there are many around the world, not one fatal overdose has ever happened in one.
Goes to show that it's clearly completely effective.
0. Now, overdose rates themselves have gone up.
Yeah.
And that's something to definitely keep into consideration. That's something to keep in mind. But the overdose deaths, where these places are and where people have access to them, dramatically go down.
Yeah.
So what's the most important thing here, right? Like, getting people clean or keeping people alive?
Yeah.
And my answer to that is you can't get help if you're dead.
100%.
That's it. You can't get help if you're dead. The first step is keeping people alive.
Yep.
Treating them with dignity, treating them with respect. Because when you do that, you show somebody that they're worth something.
Yep.
Right? Like, you listen to Narcotica, Matt. There's a fantastic story that this gentleman shares. I think he's from Philadelphia. He's a homeless person. He's a heroin user. And he shares this story about how he basically talks about, like, why would I want to go get clean? And they ask him, they talk to him. He's like, why would I want to go get clean? I
remember
nothing.
this episode. Yeah, I have nothing. I have
Nothing.
no job. I have no house. I
have
have
no
nowhere to
job, I
live.
have no
Yeah.
house. I have
Yeah.
no loved ones. I
Yeah.
have the only friends I have are other users.
Yeah.
This is my only relief.
This is that.
This is
like,
my
yeah, that
only
one thing.
that I have that numbs my pain,
No,
that
and
gives me pleasure. That's all I have. Why would I want to get clean? And this is where we talk about things like housing. Housing is harm reduction for people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, the more that we can get somebody and give them the opportunities to fix the core problems in their life. They don't have housing. They don't have food. They don't have clothes. They don't have clean water. They don't have a toilet to shit in. When we can fix these basic human needs that people don't have, we can start to fix the other problems that come with that.
Yep.
But people need to understand that people use drugs for a reason, right?
Yeah.
That's the big in the world of homelessness and that drug culture itself. There's a very specific number of reasons why people use those drugs. Sure, addiction is definitely a part of that. But just like listening to that guy in that podcast, and I can't remember what episode that is.
No, I don't know what episode it is, but I'm actually pretty glad you brought it up because I remember it.
It's a very real thing. Like, all forcing somebody like that through rehabilitation does is put them through this system where they're treated like shit.
Yeah.
They're forced to get clean, and then they're sent back out onto the streets.
I wouldn't
Now
even.
you
I
have
wouldn't
somebody
even
who,
feel like a person. I have no.
and
You
when
know.
you throw the dangers of fentanyl into that, especially when you take a heroin user and you get them clean and you reduce their tolerance to these substances when they go back out into such a fucking deadly poisoned drug supply right now.
Yeah.
They go back out with a lower tolerance. They go to use the same level they were using before because they're going back to the life where they have nothing but drugs.
Because that's
go
what they
back,
knew. They
use the
always got
same
that amount. Yeah.
They go back, they use the same amount, boom. That's
it.
an overdose.
Yep.
All that system did was put this person in greater risk. That's not what we should be doing. Like, our drug policy just needs a complete overhaul, and vapors and tobacco harm reductionists need to join the fight.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're next. Period. Bottom line.
And by the way, thank you, Robert, Logan, and myself. I know we really appreciate that. It means a lot.
Sorry, guys. I just
No,
wanted to
no,
rant. I'm
it's
sorry.
no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's good. We're right around that hour mark. This has been great. Yeah. Listen, Corey, thanks for pointing that out. Like I said a little earlier, Robert, if you haven't heard of them, go over to SoundCloud. They're on Twitter as well. I don't know about Instagram, but Narcotica, check it out. A few great guys. They're awesome, and it really opens your eyes. And if you're not on that side, for me, it really opened my eyes on like that side of what that is. I personally don't know of anybody or have any family member or anything like that does anything, drugs or anything like that, but. Addiction is a real thing.
Remember, when we talk about people that use drugs, 90% of people use drugs responsibly, safely, every day.
Can I just point out that I love that you said people who use drugs, not just drug users or
drug addicts.
drug addicts. I love that. I love that you said, and that's
I'm
something
trying to
that's
get away from the word smoker too.
Yeah,
It's another one.
As if they're
People
like
who
a
smoke.
They're a thing. They're not people. They don't have lives.
Right. We need to get
there's
away
no
from
like
that. They're
singular
people
thing.
first.
You know what I mean? Like
They're
people have their
first.
own. People have their own lives, their own stresses, their own vices that go along with everything according to like what I just said. And bottom line is they're still people. They're still humans,
you're dehumanizing
you know what I mean?
somebody when you call them a drug addict. It's dehumanizing. It's stigma. That's what that is.
My whiskey on
human.
My whiskey on
They're just
ice
an
may be
addict.
somebody's drugs in another form
People
in
who
another
use
place.
smoker is the hard one for me because I identified as a smoker for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
Which is kind of like
work on that too. I'm trying to say people who smoke.
Yeah, people who smoke.
On Twitter that can be hard because it's a lot more characters.
Which I personally think is like an awesome thing to like acknowledge. Like people who smoke. You're a person. Like a smoker just sounds. It's just so aggressive these days. But
yeah, it's just the thing, man. I think that we can all just do better.
Yeah.
I think that's
once
the
again, I
biggest thing.
definitely want to thank everybody that's out right now. As we hit that hour mark, I want to wrap up. I know we didn't get to our last thing. Maybe we can touch on that next week. Mr. Jerome Adams talking about the smoking report.
Really quick, I'm gonna sum up Jerome Adams' entire 45-minute presentation on his new smoking cessation.
2 minutes.
that
1,
he
2,
just
3,
did.
go.
3 sentences. I can sum it up in 3 sentences. Are you ready?
A, 2, and 5.
There's too many e-cigs. We only have 150 scientists.
In a case.
Just use the gum.
Just use the gum. Just use the gum. Use the God. What is it?
Vericillin? I can never say it the right way.
Don't use the forbidden
for
word.
Chantix.
Don't use the forbidden word Chantix. Don't use that. Use the
Oh yeah, he went
Vericillin,
on and on.
whatever.
Prescription medications are best. Use NRT.
But let me just point out one more time that it's not just me and 150 doctors in a back room.
We're not in a
one more
back
time.
room.
It's not me writing this 700-page report in a back room, but we need more research on e-cigarettes to be proven that they're as a cessation tool.
Yeah.
Just let me point
But
that
dude,
out. I'm not in a back
that's
room
all I
writing
heard
that,
out of that entire thing was because he goes on and on about how there's so many e-cigs.
Which,
We
if you
can't
haven't
tell,
seen that,
we don't
I posted
know. We don't know anything because there's so many,
Yeah.
and they're all different. We just don't know. There's too many e-cigs. We only have 150 scientists.
And
Just use the gum.
if you haven't seen that, I just dropped the link to that live stream of that, and
I watched the whole thing.
yeah, I watched it
I'll tell
too,
you
and
what.
it was
It's not great.
no, it's not. It's not.
It's not great. There are some key things though. There are some key things that that he did talk about, and let's see if I can find this really quick. That are in the actual 700-page thing, but there's really not much in there about e-cigarettes. But
I dropped what the CDC had to.
okay,
to
right
sum up
here.
as well.
On page 23 of the Introductions, Conclusions, and Exploring the Landscape of Smoking Cessation, there are two things here that I do want to mention, and I'm just going to read them really quick.
Sure.
Other features of e-cigarettes. This is from his report. So these are things that he's acknowledging. Other features of e-cigarettes that may enhance their appeal to smokers, people who smoke, of conventional cigarettes include the ways in which they mirror some of the sensory motor features of conventional cigarette smoking, including stimulation of the airways, the sensation and taste of e-cigarette aerosol in the mouth and lungs, the hand-to-mouth movements, and puffing in which e-cigarette users engage in the exhalation of aerosol that may visually resemble cigarette smoking, giving the potential important role of such sensory motor factors in the reinforcing and addictive qualities of conventional cigarettes. The presence of these attributes could make e-cigarettes more appealing to smokers as a substitute for cigarettes than NRTs, because NRTs either lack such sensory motor features, or like the patch, the gum, and whatever. And then he goes on another part of this. NRT has been proven safe and effective. Okay, that sentence is important, right? NRTs have been proven safe and effective. That means the nicotine in NRTs has been proven safe and effective. Right?
Can I point out quickly that I have the same stance as like Grim Green as far as Jerome Adams. I think he's a halfway decent guy that just needs to be like, whatever you want to call it, pointed in the right direction.
I think he's a
given more
halfway decent
facts.
guy that gets paid by the right people to not be a halfway decent guy when it comes to e-cigarettes.
Yeah, I'm glad.
That's what I think.
I'm glad we kind of have the same stance.
But he
on that.
he goes on to say NRTs have been proven safe and effective. So I want people to remember that, right? Because they do contain nicotine, but they're safe and effective.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, but there is no safe tobacco product. Now, there's no tobacco in e-cigarettes. We're simply named a tobacco product.
Which fucking boils my blood. Dude.
Which now,
boils my fucking
in his
blood.
mind, just because they're considered a tobacco product, they are automatically not safe.
Not safe.
Although, he goes on to say, although e-cigarette aerosol generally contains fewer toxic chemicals than conventional cigarette smoke.
But can we point out how safer? Can we just point out, safer? Nobody's claiming 100% safe. We're talking safer than combustible.
I mean, if you can find something for me that exists in this world that someone can claim 100% safety around, please do.
Whatever.
I'll wait.
I'll wait. Don't hold your breath.
Right.
You can wait, but don't hold your breath.
There is some acknowledgments there, right?
Yeah.
He's acknowledging how important those ritualistic stimulation things are that smokers like me enjoy. It's one of the things I loved about smoking. I hate, like, air is boring. I don't want just air. I want to breathe something in and I want to exhale something other than just air. Air is boring. Smoke or vapor, like, highly appeals to me.
Yeah.
It's visually stimulating. I'm constantly playing with my beard because I have a hand to face fixation. It's just something I have. I developed it through smoking, and that's one of those things. I have that. It's almost impulsive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why vaping works for you. They're acknowledging some of these things, and they're even saying that these may appeal more to people who smoke. We're getting there.
We're getting there. It's slowly,
getting there.
Very slowly.
Now, if it just would have included unicorn poop flavored e-liquid also helps some smokers quit smoking, then we would be there. When they can accept unicorn poop, we'll be there.
Which, I don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So as we wind down here, a little over an hour, I just want to take a few minutes to do our normal Q&A as we wrap up here. If you guys have any questions for Logan or myself, anything about what we've discussed tonight, whatever, throw it out. We'll sit here for a few minutes, we'll chat, and then we'll do a fully wrap up, and we can.
No, you're right, Corey. Breathing isn't safe. It contains formaldehyde.
Yeah, exactly. Sit in traffic in New York and tell me how good that is for you.
Yeah.
Sit in traffic anywhere. Sorry.
L.A.
Don't mean to fucking.
Let's go to L.A.
I go to L.A.
Your chances of cancer immediately go up the minute your plane lands.
And watch out where you step in L.A. By the way. Sorry, that was a shitty thing to say.
I mean, you should probably watch where you step in LA if you're trying to keep your shoes clean and things like this.
But yeah, so if you guys have any questions for us, you can drop them there. Logan, what do you have coming out next week, if anything? What do you got going on?
Well, to be honest, Monday we'll have a normal episode.
Great.
Patrons will have a new podcast episode up. And then, so I'm still working on our diabetes and vaping episode. I have 4 fantastic testimonies already in. I have fantastic information to hand people, but I am currently still trying my hardest to get a diabetes specialist to talk to me. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, apparently. No, it's not, but it's frustrating, and I don't want to put this episode out until I have a specialist.
But it's something that's going to matter, like,
I think it's
so
going to be
much.
a really big key part of this episode. So people are just going to have to keep waiting on that. I know I've been promising it for weeks. I'm like 3/4 of the way there. Like, most of it is done. Most of it's done. But I don't want to put that episode up without talking to somebody, and I keep getting weird replies from people who are like, hey, we can't really do that. Hey, we don't want to.
They're all giving you like the runaround,
yeah,
or passing the buck type deal.
Even Diabetes UK.
Yeah.
Diabetes UK, which if you go to the Diabetes UK website, they even just simply for smokers advise that you go over to the NHS website and look at their smoking cessation, which highlights vaping.
Yep.
But even they're not willing to say it themselves.
Yeah.
So we'll get there though. It's coming. We'll get there. I'm working on it. I just want it to be the best that it can be before I put it out.
I love that pig emoji. I didn't even know there was something like that. Fucking Cuomo.
But,
don't even get us going on fucking Cuomo, whatever the hell you want to call him. Technically.
Yeah, and normally most products, Corey, they don't. Apparently vaping is just different.
So, yeah, as far as... I don't have anything coming out this week, honestly. Tomorrow or Monday, I usually have this up in audio. So if anybody's just getting here now and you don't want to have YouTube open or you can't have YouTube open, this will be up on SoundCloud. You can check out Logan and myself, Instagram and Twitter. Those banners are running. Check Logan out on SoundCloud. I know Raging Vapor isn't here right now to promote Apple, but I know you're on iTunes, right? iTunes. It's called iTunes.
iTunes or iPodcasts or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Apple.
I think it's just podcasts
Apple
on
Podcasts.
Apple, like Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts. Yeah, and I have an Apple. I like SoundCloud. SoundCloud's
Yeah,
just
I like
convenient for
SoundCloud
me.
better.
So this will be on SoundCloud either tomorrow or Monday, and I will post it on Twitter. I want to thank everybody again for coming out tonight. Feel free to like this if you enjoyed it. We're here usually every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. And I'll do that thing. Hope you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And we'll do.
Thank you all.
We'll do
I
the
love
thing.
you.
Thank everybody for coming out. Shout out to Corey Jackson, Tom, Anthony, everybody else that's out here. I feel like we always have new people.
Eileen. I don't ever know how to say her name right.
I always
love you, Eileen.
I always forget who's new and who's repetitive, but a big shout out to everybody. Shout out to Ricky Mahoney. I know he's here all the time. Saddle Horse Blues, Shane Oakley as well. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend.
We got to do the thing, Matt, because I have to pee so bad.
We got to do the thing.
I'm
I got to pee
dancing
too,
in
man.
my seat right now, dude. I'm like, Matt, I love that we're shouting people out, bro. I love this, but
we'll just do a big
so bad.
a big thank you all, and let's do the thing.
Thank you to all. I love you. Good night.